The person you are today is only a fraction of who you could become, and the difference between the two is what you choose to do every single day. It immediately sparks curiosity, challenges the listener, and sets up the core message of daily self-development. Growth requires daily effort because the human mind and character are like a muscle. If you do not use and challenge them, they weaken over time. You cannot expect progress to be a result of occasional bursts of inspiration or once-in-a-while dedication. Life is in constant motion. The world keeps moving forward whether you act or remain idle. Every day that passes without intentional self-improvement is a day when you are either standing still or, more dangerously, drifting backward while others move ahead. The truth is, success and personal mastery are not accidents. They are built through the deliberate, disciplined decision to engage in actions that stretch your abilities, challenge your thinking, and refine your skills. When you commit to developing yourself daily, you create momentum. Momentum has a powerful effect because it compounds. One day of growth makes the next day slightly easier and more productive, and before long you find yourself accomplishing things that once seemed beyond your reach. On the other hand, if you work sporadically, motivated one week and distracted the next, you disrupt the compounding effect and force yourself to start over repeatedly. This inconsistency drains energy and breeds frustration because you never allow yourself to experience the full benefits of sustained effort. Daily development is not limited to one area of life. It includes mental growth through reading, learning, and problem-solving, emotional growth through self-reflection, gratitude, and empathy, and physical growth through discipline in health and fitness. You cannot afford to neglect any part of yourself because each dimension affects the others. A strong mind and a weak body will struggle to endure challenges, just as a healthy body paired with a restless, undisciplined mind will fail to channel energy productively. Working on yourself daily means acknowledging the interconnectedness of your thoughts, habits, and actions and treating each day as an opportunity to sharpen them. The greatest obstacle to daily self-development is complacency, the belief that where you are now is good enough. This mindset breeds stagnation. Even if you are already skilled or knowledgeable, the world does not stand still, and neither should you. Technologies evolve, industries shift, and personal circumstances change. To remain relevant and capable, you must adapt continuously, and adaptation requires a willingness to learn and grow every single day. Daily effort keeps you agile, prepared, and ahead of the curve when opportunities or challenges arise. Some may believe they will begin their self-improvement journey when the time is right, but the time will never be more right than it is today. Waiting only strengthens the habits of inaction, while acting daily, even in small ways, strengthens the habit of progress. It is not about working at your maximum intensity every day, but rather ensuring that every day moves you forward in some meaningful way. The simple choice to read one page, practice one skill, or take one positive step each day builds a reservoir of growth that transforms who you are and what you are capable of becoming. Habits shape your future because they are the invisible architects of your destiny. Every repeated action, no matter how small it may seem in the moment, is a brick in the foundation of the life you are building. People often overestimate the impact of sudden, dramatic efforts and underestimate the power of quiet, consistent behaviors repeated over time. The truth is that your future is being created not in the rare moments of intense effort, but in the routines you perform automatically every single day. Your habits decide how you use your time, how you react to challenges, and how far you can go when opportunities arise. When you develop strong, productive habits, they act as a powerful force that works in your favor even when you are not consciously thinking about them. Waking up early to plan your day, exercising regularly to keep your body strong, reading to feed your mind, practicing gratitude to strengthen your perspective. These habits become the silent partners in your success. Over time, they create an upward spiral in which each good habit supports another, and the overall quality of your life steadily rises. In the same way, poor habits have the opposite effect, pulling you into a downward spiral that can be difficult to reverse. Procrastination, neglecting your health, ignoring personal growth, or surrounding yourself with negativity may seem harmless in the short term, but compounded over years, they shape a life of missed opportunities and unrealized potential. Habits are powerful because they free you from the need to rely on motivation alone. Motivation is temporary, it comes and goes like the weather. Habits, on the other hand, are stable and automatic. Once a habit is formed, it requires less willpower to maintain. This is why building the right habits early is so important. They make progress inevitable. If you have the habit of writing a page every morning, you will produce more in a year than someone who waits for inspiration to strike. If you have the habit of saving and investing a small amount each month, you will create financial stability that no single windfall could match. Your habits also determine how you respond to life's challenges. When difficulties come, as they inevitably will, your response will be guided by what you have repeatedly trained yourself to do. A person who has built the habit of staying calm under pressure will make better decisions than someone whose habit is to panic. A person who has trained themselves to seek solutions will always find a way forward, while someone in the habit of making excuses will find reasons to remain stuck. The most empowering truth about habits is that they are within your control. You can design them intentionally rather than letting them form by accident. This requires awareness, patience, and persistence. It may feel difficult in the beginning to establish a new, positive habit, but every repetition makes it stronger, and over time it becomes part of who you are. In this way, your habits are not just actions you take. They are the very framework that will determine the person you become, and the life you will ultimately live. Habits shape your future, because they work quietly in the background, influencing every decision, action, and result in your life. The direction of your future is not decided by one big breakthrough or a single defining moment, but by the small, repeated actions you perform every day without much thought. These actions, whether helpful or harmful, accumulate over time and create the conditions you will eventually live in. A person's current life is largely the result of habits formed years ago, and the life they will live years from now will be the direct result of the habits they are forming today. Good habits act as a compass that continually points you toward growth and success. They guide your behavior automatically, reducing the mental energy needed to make positive choices. When you wake up early out of habit, you don't have to wrestle with the decision every morning. It becomes second nature. When you read daily as a matter of habit, you are constantly expanding your knowledge without needing constant reminders. These positive routines compound in value over weeks, months, and years, creating progress that may be invisible in the short term but undeniable in the long term. Bad habits work in exactly the same way, but in the opposite direction. Skipping small responsibilities, indulging in unhealthy foods, procrastinating on important tasks, these actions may feel insignificant in the moment, but over time they lead to decline in health, opportunities, and personal growth. The challenge is that bad habits often provide immediate comfort while delaying their negative consequences, making them harder to resist. Good habits, on the other hand, sometimes require discomfort at first, but reward you later with lasting benefits. Recognizing this difference and choosing the long-term reward over short-term pleasure is one of the most important skills you can develop. Habits also serve as a replacement for motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It can be strong one day and non-existent the next. Relying on motivation alone is risky because it depends on emotion, which changes frequently. Habits, however, are dependable. Once established, they operate on autopilot, requiring little conscious effort to maintain. This means that even on days when you feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated, your habits can carry you forward and keep you aligned with your goals. The power of habits lies not just in their consistency, but in their ability to shape your identity. The more you perform an action, the more it becomes part of who you are. If you write every day, you begin to see yourself as a writer. If you exercise daily, you start to identify as a healthy and disciplined person. This identity then reinforces the habit, creating a self-sustaining cycle that strengthens over time. By intentionally building habits that align with the life you want to live, you ensure that your future unfolds in the direction you have chosen. Rather than leaving it to chance or circumstance, see yourself as a craftsman means approaching your personal growth with the same patience, care, and precision that a skilled artisan uses when shaping their work. A craftsman does not rush the process or settle for mediocrity. Every detail matters, and every step is taken with purpose. They understand that the quality of the finished product is determined by the attention given to each stage of creation. In the same way, the person you become is the result of the time, thought, and effort you invest in yourself day after day. You are not simply drifting toward a destination. You are deliberately shaping the outcome with every choice, every habit, and every action. A craftsman values progress over speed. They know that trying to force results too quickly leads to mistakes and weak foundations. Personal growth follows the same principle. Developing your character, sharpening your skills, and building your mindset cannot be rushed. There is no shortcut to mastery. The process may seem slow at times, but every deliberate improvement strengthens your base and prepares you for greater achievements ahead. Impatience often leads people to abandon their goals when results do not come immediately, but the craftsman understands that patience is not passive. It is active dedication to doing the right work for as long as it takes. Every project a craftsman works on reflects their personal standards. In life, your daily decisions reflect the standards you set for yourself. If you accept sloppy effort, low-quality work, or half-hearted attempts, you are shaping a version of yourself that will carry those same flaws into bigger opportunities. But if you hold yourself to a higher level of discipline, integrity, And excellence, you will create a life that mirrors those qualities. This requires constant self-awareness, the willingness to examine your work, and the courage to make adjustments when you fall short of your own expectations. A true craftsman also invests in the right tools and continuously improves them. For personal growth, your tools are your mindset, your skills, your knowledge, and your habits. These must be sharpened regularly. Reading, learning from mentors, practicing your abilities, and challenging your limitations are all ways to refine your tools so they are ready when needed. Without this investment, you may find yourself unprepared for the opportunities you desire. One of the most important qualities of a craftsman is pride in the process itself. They find meaning and satisfaction not only in the final result but also in the act of creation. When you approach your life this way, every day becomes valuable, because every day is part of building something greater. The journey is no longer just a means to an end. It is an ongoing work of art. You begin to see your life as a masterpiece in progress, one that will never be perfect, but will always be worth improving, shaping, and refining with intention and care. Value each day as an opportunity, because time is the one resource you can never recover once it is gone. Every sunrise delivers a fresh chance to move forward, to learn something new, to take an action that aligns with your vision, and to become a slightly better version of yourself than you were yesterday. Too often, people overlook the significance of a single day, convincing themselves that one skipped effort or one missed opportunity will not matter. Yet the truth is that the quality of your future is determined by how you treat the days that make it up. A year is simply a collection of days, and a lifetime is the accumulation of thousands of them. When you treat each one as valuable, you naturally begin to live with greater purpose and urgency. Opportunities are not always obvious or grand in scale. Sometimes they appear as small chances to practice discipline, help someone in need, learn from a mistake, or strengthen a relationship. These moments may seem insignificant at first glance, but they often act as seeds for much larger outcomes. A single conversation can lead to a life-changing connection. One decision to study instead of waste time can spark a chain of events that improves your entire career. Recognizing the potential in each day means you become more alert to these small openings and less likely to let them pass unnoticed. Valuing each day also means refusing to postpone what matters, waiting for a better time. To start working on your goals is an illusion, because there will always be distractions, challenges, and reasons to delay. The most successful people understand that perfect timing does not exist. Action must be taken in the present. When you embrace the idea that today is the best day to start, you free yourself from the paralysis of waiting and begin building momentum immediately. It is equally important to understand that wasted days accumulate, just as surely as productive ones. Allowing too many days to pass without growth, effort, or intentional action creates a habit of inaction that can be difficult to break. This is why it is dangerous to underestimate the impact of a single day. Every day spent without progress pushes you further from your goals, while every day spent intentionally brings you closer. To truly value a day, you must begin it with clarity. Having a sense of purpose for the next 24 hours ensures that you make decisions aligned with your greater vision. Whether it is a major achievement or a small step forward, knowing what you aim to accomplish allows you to use your time more wisely. Ending the day with reflection, reviewing what you did well, what you could improve, and how you will approach tomorrow, reinforces the mindset that each day is a gift and an opportunity not to be wasted. When you live with this awareness, you create a life built on consistent progress rather than occasional bursts of effort. Persevere when results are invisible, because the path to meaningful achievement is rarely a straight, predictable line. There are stretches where progress feels slow, where your efforts seem to produce no measurable change, and where the work feels heavier than the reward. These moments can be discouraging, but they are an essential part of the journey. Growth often happens beneath the surface, beyond what you can immediately see. Just as seeds take time to break through the soil, your consistent actions may be creating change in ways that are not yet visible, but will eventually emerge if you refuse to give up. Many people abandon their goals not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they lose patience during this unseen phase. They assume that the absence of immediate results means their efforts are wasted, when in reality, the foundation for success is still being built. Every repetition, every disciplined choice, every act of persistence adds a layer of strength and preparation that will support future breakthroughs. The challenge is to keep moving forward without constant evidence that what you are doing is working. Perseverance during these periods requires trust. Trust in the process, trust in your abilities, and trust in the principle that effort compounds over time. When you stay committed, even in the absence of validation, you are training yourself to rely on discipline rather than emotion. Emotion fluctuates based on daily circumstances, but discipline remains steady, allowing you to keep showing up no matter how you feel. This steady presence is what separates those who achieve lasting success from those who quit too soon. It is also during these times of invisible progress that your character is tested and strengthened. Without the external motivation of quick wins or visible rewards, you are forced to draw motivation from within. You learn to set your own standards and measure your success by your consistency rather than the applause or recognition you receive. This self-reliance builds resilience, making you stronger and more capable of withstanding future challenges. The invisible phase is not wasted time, it is a period of preparation. Athletes train for months before competing. Students study for years before earning their degrees, and businesses often operate quietly for long stretches before becoming widely known. The same principle applies to personal growth and goal achievement. If you quit during the hidden phase, you rob yourself of the chance to see the results that were just beginning to take shape. Keeping your focus on the long-term vision helps you endure these stretches without losing heart. Instead of obsessing over how far you still have to go, remind yourself how far you have already come. Celebrate the fact that you are still in the game, still making the effort, and still moving forward. With time, what was once invisible will become undeniable. And the perseverance you showed when no one was watching will become the very reason you succeed. Daily victories compound over time, because success is rarely the result of one massive leap forward. It is built through countless small wins accumulated day after day. These victories might not seem extraordinary when viewed in isolation. Reading a few pages of a book, completing a workout, making a single sales call, or choosing a healthy meal instead of an unhealthy one. But each of these actions adds to a larger pattern of progress. Over weeks, months, and years, these seemingly minor efforts create significant and lasting transformation. The key is to understand that every positive choice you make is an investment in your future, and like any good investment, the value grows over time. When you commit to winning each day in some way, you create momentum. This momentum fuels your confidence, reinforces your discipline, and strengthens your belief in your ability to follow through. Small wins also have a psychological effect. They prove to you that progress is possible, even on difficult days. Achieving a daily victory doesn't require perfection. It simply requires doing something that moves you forward, no matter how small. That consistency compounds in a way that erratic, occasional bursts of effort never can. Compounding is a powerful force because it multiplies results without requiring exponentially greater effort. The difference between doing something beneficial once a week versus every day is enormous over time. For example, reading 10 pages a day may not feel like much, but in a year, it adds up to over 600 pages, the equivalent of several books that could completely shift your mindset and expand your knowledge. The same principle applies to exercise, skill development, saving money, or building relationships. Each day you add another brick to the structure of your success, and as those bricks accumulate, the structure becomes stronger and more impressive. Daily victories also help you build habits that sustain success. When you repeat positive actions consistently, they become part of your identity. You stop thinking of them as things you should do and start seeing them as things you simply do because they align with who you are. Over time, this shift in identity makes success feel less like a struggle and more like a natural byproduct of the way you live. This is why focusing on the small, consistent wins is often more effective than obsessing over the big goal itself. The process becomes the reward, and the outcome takes care of itself. Even on difficult days when energy is low or motivation is absent, securing a small victory maintains your forward motion. It prevents you from losing momentum and keeps your confidence intact. Over time, the accumulation of these wins becomes impossible to ignore. What once felt like minor steps become the very foundation of the life you've built, proving that the road to extraordinary achievement is paved with ordinary actions performed with extraordinary consistency. Direction matters more than current position, because where you are headed ultimately determines where you will end up, regardless of where you are starting from. Many people measure their progress only by their present circumstances, comparing themselves to others who may seem further ahead, and in doing so, they overlook the power of trajectory. A person who is far behind today, but moving steadily in the right direction, will eventually surpass someone who is ahead but moving aimlessly or standing still. What matters most is not how close you are to your goal right now, but whether you are consistently taking steps that lead you toward it. Focusing on direction rather than position frees you from the discouragement that can come from comparing yourself to others. Everyone begins from a different starting point, shaped by unique experiences, resources, and challenges. Judging yourself solely by your current place in the journey ignores the fact that the journey is ongoing. By concentrating on your path and making sure each step aligns with your desired destination, you ensure that time works in your favor. Progress may be slow at first, but as long as the direction is correct, every effort compounds and moves you closer to your vision. Your current position is a reflection of past choices, but your direction is determined by the choices you make today. This means you have the power to change your future at any moment by adjusting your path. Even small changes in direction, maintained over time, can lead to dramatically different outcomes. Just as a ship changing course by a few degrees will eventually end up in an entirely different port, altering your daily habits, mindset, and actions can transform your life's destination. Direction also gives purpose to the work you are doing now, even if the results are not yet visible. When you know your efforts are aligned with a clear goal, it becomes easier to stay motivated during the long stretches where progress is hard to measure. You understand that the steps you take today are not wasted. They are part of a deliberate path that will eventually produce results. This perspective prevents the frustration and impatience that cause many people to quit before they see success. It is possible to be in a seemingly good position, but moving in the wrong direction, which is why awareness is so important. Comfort, stability, or short-term success can sometimes disguise a slow drift away from your true goals. Without regular reflection, you may not notice that your actions are leading you somewhere you do not actually want to be. Maintaining clarity about your desired destination allows you to make course corrections before you stray too far. Ultimately, measuring yourself by direction rather than position keeps you focused on growth. It shifts your mindset from comparison to self-improvement, from instant results to long-term progress. No matter how far you feel from your goal right now, if you are moving in the right direction and refusing to stop, it is only a matter of time before you arrive. Direction matters more than current position, because where you are headed ultimately determines where you will end up, regardless of where you are starting from. Many people measure their progress only by their present circumstances, comparing themselves to others who may seem further ahead, and in doing so, they overlook the power of trajectory. A person who is far behind today, but moving steadily in the right direction, will eventually surpass someone who is ahead but moving aimlessly or standing still. What matters most is not how close you are to your goal right now, but whether you are consistently taking steps that lead you toward it. Focusing on direction rather than position frees you from the discouragement that can come from comparing yourself to others. Everyone begins from a different starting point, shaped by unique experiences, resources, and challenges. Judging yourself solely by your current place in the journey ignores the fact that the journey is ongoing. By concentrating on your path and making sure each step aligns with your desired destination, you ensure that time works in your favor. Progress may be slow at first, but as long as the direction is correct, every effort compounds and moves you closer to your vision. Your current position is a reflection of past choices, but your direction is determined by the choices you make today. This means you have the power to change your future at any moment by adjusting your path. Even small changes in direction, maintained over time, can lead to dramatically different outcomes. Just as a ship changing course by a few degrees will eventually end up in an entirely different port, altering your daily habits, mindset, and actions can transform your life's destination. Direction also gives purpose to the work you are doing now, even if the results are not yet visible. When you know your efforts are aligned with a clear goal, it becomes easier to stay motivated during the long stretches where progress is hard to measure. You understand that the steps you take today are not wasted. They are part of a deliberate path that will eventually produce results. This perspective prevents the frustration and impatience that cause many people to quit before they see success. It is possible to be in a seemingly good position, but moving in the wrong direction, which is why awareness is so important. Comfort, stability, or short-term success can sometimes disguise a slow drift away from your true goals. Without regular reflection, you may not notice that your actions are leading you somewhere you do not actually want to be. Maintaining clarity about your desired destination allows you to make course corrections before you stray too far. Ultimately, measuring yourself by direction rather than position keeps you focused on growth. It shifts your mindset from comparison to self-improvement, from instant results to long-term progress. No matter how far you feel from your goal right now, if you are moving in the right direction and refusing to stop, it is only a matter of time before you arrive. Your power lies in today's actions, because the present moment is the only time you can directly influence. The past is unchangeable, and the future has not yet arrived, but what you choose to do right now shapes the results you will experience later. Too often, people place their hopes on what they will do someday, believing that their real efforts will begin when circumstances are better or when they feel more prepared. This mindset delays progress indefinitely because the perfect moment never truly comes. The choices you make today, how you use your time, how you respond to challenges, and how you invest your energy, create the foundation upon which your future is built. Focusing on today's actions forces you to take responsibility for the opportunities at hand. It prevents you from hiding behind excuses or placing blame on external conditions. You may not be able to control every event in your life, but you can control how you act in response to them. This control is your power, and it is exercised in the present. Whether you use that power to take a meaningful step forward or to remain stagnant is a decision you make each day. Small, deliberate actions today can begin a chain reaction of positive outcomes, while neglecting today can lead to missed chances and growing regret. The power of today's actions lies in their compounding effect. A single productive day may not change much by itself, but when repeated consistently, it transforms your capabilities, your mindset, and your circumstances. For example, choosing to spend an hour learning a new skill today may seem insignificant, but if you repeat that habit every day, you will develop expertise that can open doors you never imagined. The same principle applies to health, relationships, finances, and personal growth. Every beneficial action, no matter how small, adds weight to the side of progress. When you understand that today holds this much power, procrastination becomes harder to justify. Postponing an important action means forfeiting a chance to move closer to your goal. Every day you wait is a day you cannot get back. By acting now, you not only take a step forward but also build momentum, making it easier to continue tomorrow. Momentum is a powerful ally once you are in motion. Each successive action requires less effort to initiate. Living with an awareness of today's power also keeps you grounded in reality. It prevents you from being paralyzed by the size of your long-term goals because you no longer need to achieve everything at once. Your focus becomes doing what you can with the resources, time, and energy you have right now. This shift makes progress feel more achievable and removes the pressure of perfection. Over time, these present moment actions accumulate into significant achievements, proving that your future is not determined by what you intend to do someday, but by the choices you make and execute today. Continuous self-development leads to the best version of you because personal growth is not a single event, but an ongoing process that shapes every area of your life. No matter how much you have already learned or achieved, there is always room to improve your skills, strengthen your mindset, and expand your understanding of the world. Life is constantly changing, and each stage brings new challenges and opportunities that require you to adapt. The best version of yourself is not a fixed point you reach once and then remain at forever. It is the result of a lifelong commitment to refining who you are and how you live. When you commit to continuous self-development, you ensure that you are always moving forward rather than becoming stagnant. Even small, steady improvements compound over time, making you more capable, confident, and resilient. These improvements can be mental, such as learning new ideas or problem-solving strategies; emotional, such as becoming more patient or empathetic; or physical, such as improving your health and energy. Each new level of growth unlocks greater potential, allowing you to take on bigger goals and make a greater impact in the world around you. One of the most powerful aspects of ongoing development is the way it changes your identity. As you build new skills, adopt better habits, and strengthen your character, you begin to see yourself differently. This shift in self-image reinforces your progress because you start to act in alignment with the person you are becoming. You are less likely to tolerate mediocrity or engage in behaviors that conflict with your vision of your best self. Instead, you naturally seek out experiences, relationships, and opportunities that support your growth. Continuous self-development also protects you from the complacency that can come after achieving a certain level of success. Many people slow down once they reach a goal, only to find themselves losing the edge that got them there in the first place. By treating growth as a permanent habit rather than a temporary phase, you maintain momentum and remain adaptable to whatever changes life presents. You stay curious, open-minded, and willing to explore new possibilities, which keeps you relevant and prepared for the future. The best version of you is not simply more skilled or knowledgeable. It is a version that lives with greater clarity, purpose, and integrity. It is someone who can handle challenges with composure, who takes consistent action toward meaningful goals, and who influences others positively. Achieving this version of yourself requires constant learning, reflection, and adjustment. You must be willing to challenge your own assumptions, step outside your comfort zone, and embrace the discomfort that comes with growth. Each day offers a chance to take another step toward this evolving ideal. The more you commit to developing yourself in all areas of life, the more your potential expands, and the closer you come to living in a way that reflects the highest and most capable expression of who you can be. Here's a short, powerful conclusion for the speech. Yes, your future is built in the quiet work you do each day. Commit to developing yourself day in and day out, and one day you'll look back and realize you've become the person you once only dreamed of being. SJ.